Welcome everybody to TLC. My name is Stephanie Adams and I will be the host for this TLC session. Thank you for joining us for this session. Credit Hour Analysis, the Unexamined course, is not worth teaching. Please welcome Dr. Wendy Conaway, Associate Professor in the College of Arts and Sciences, Dr. Lynn Trevisan, Associate Professor in the College of Arts and Sciences, and Ms. Pamela Rees, Associate Director of Program Review within the Office of Learning Assessment and Program Review. Ladies, the floor is all yours.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Pamela Reyes. I am the Associate Director of Program Review, as she mentioned, within the Office of Learning Assessment and Program Review here at Ashford University. We're so excited that you're here to join us. I know Credit Hour is one of those things that it's a mystery, and sometimes it's also a word that can be scary to some faculty. So we're here to kind of take you down the journey that we've been traveling on for quite some time now. I have the honor today to be presenting with two lovely associate faculty members, Dr. Lynn Trevisan and Wendy Conaway, as we mentioned, who both have a very comprehensive understanding and direct experience with our Credit Hour process here at Ashford. They're both associate professors aligned within the Colleges of Arts and Sciences, as mentioned. We're letting you know that there are two ways you can participate in our session today. We have two poll questions that you'll be seeing, and you are definitely encouraged to ask questions via the chat feature. One of us will definitely be monitoring to ensure to answer any questions that you maybe have, and as well as address any other questions that we don't address during the presentation itself. So we're going to jump in, okay? With that, we'd like to explain the title of our presentation. We adapted Socrates' famous quote, "The unexamined life is not worth living," which is an ethical stance towards life. Ashford uses the Credit Hour template to support our belief that a course is well designed, has the appropriate level of rigor, and meets the contact requirement to earn the assigned credit hours. Credit Hour analysis is conducted in service to our students, and we hope that this presentation will showcase the thoughtful and systematic approach that we take here at Ashford to fulfill its commitment to abide by our accrediting body, WASC, the WASC Senior College and University Commission, also known as WASC, our federal regulations, and as well as to enhance the academic experience. Next slide. Lynn, there we go. Yay, thank you. In true assessment fashion, we have presentation outcomes. Would it be, I'm sure no one's surprised. We aim to achieve these three outcomes as we are sharing on the screen. I will definitely be articulating the meaning and importance of credit hour analysis, while Lynn and Wendy will definitely describe the creation of the tool in conducting credit hour analysis and describe parts of the tool itself. We spent a great deal amount of time creating our credit hour analysis tool, and I know Wendy and Lynn will do a great job really highlighting and showcasing its advantages. As a result of our presentation, we do hope that you'll be able to discern the importance of why credit hour analysis is important to us and to our university. Next slide, perfect. This slide showcases the two areas of responsibility related to credit hour. Not obviously, but the Office of Learning Assessment and Program Review helps manage all these credit hour calculations that have been done on every course within the institution. Our office really ensures that the credit hour analyses and records are accurate to maintain transparency and consistency and compliance with WASC, as well as accreditation expectations and federal regulation guidelines. Faculty members are, of course, the ones that are completing the actual credit hour analysis process during course development, course revision, and also sometimes during program review. Program review often can identify courses that have not been credit calculated in a timely fashion, and at that time they do have the opportunity to recalculate those credit hours to ensure that courses are in line and in compliance. Lynn and Wendy will further discuss the Credit Hours Committee role in creating the new credit hour template and methods of entering data on the form. Stephanie, if you could please bring up our first poll question. So, of course, have you ever participated in credit hour analysis? Please indicate yes or no. So it looks like about half and half. We have a good group. Okay. So we're definitely gonna give you more information than you ever wanted to know about credit hour, but it's a good thing. Sweet. Next slide, Lynn. Thank you. In July 2011, institutions and accrediting agencies were required to come into compliance with regulations regarding the definition and assignment of credit hour. In addition, accrediting agencies were required to evaluate compliance as part of comprehensive reviews. The Carnegie unit is the basis of determining credit hour equivalency. This graphic shows how the Carnegie unit is calculated. A unit is equal to 1 hour of in-class instruction plus 2 hours of work outside class, for a total of 3 contact hours each week. Traditionally, a semester was calculated at 15 weeks. Based on that, 1 credit hour is defined as 3 contact hours times 15 to equal 45 contact hours. Therefore, a 3 credit hour class requires 135 contact hours of work for completion. A lot of math for you guys. So currently what you're seeing here is the levels and minimums and maximums that we've defined here at Ashford University. Credit hour analysis must be conducted for every course, as we mentioned earlier, and there are some differences in the credit hour targets for undergraduate and graduate courses. 3 credit hour undergraduate courses, that's a mouthful, say it 5 times, must fall within the target range of a minimum of 135 hours with a max of 150 hours. 3 credit hour graduate courses must fall within the target range of 135 hours with a max of 177 contact hours. And then of course, 4 credit hour undergraduate and graduate fall within the 180 to 200 credit hour contact hours. Earlier this year, we did a deep dive in auditing the existing credit hour documents to ensure that all records were in order and that all courses fell in within the appropriate minimum amount that was required. It definitely has been a large undertaking, and we're very excited to have been able to collaborate with our faculty to ensure that we've had all credit hour records. So thank you to our faculty to being great team players on that. Any courses that did not have credit hour analysis on file, they were identified, and we did ask the appropriate faculty members to calculate credit hour appropriately for that. Again, a big thank you, as we know credit hour calculations can be time consuming. Any courses that fell outside the target range, faculty were to decide what to be done with that process, as well as if it needed to go on for redevelopment or revision accordingly. Next slide, please. As part of our accreditation, Ashford University complies with WASC guidelines for credit hour. These guidelines state that an institution must have a policy on credit hour for all courses and programs, that the institution must have a process to review the application of credit hour policy across the institution to ensure that credit hour assignments are accurate and reliable, and lastly, that any variations of credit hour may conform to commonly accepted credit hour definitions in higher education. For example, when analyzing for dissertation, practica, laboratory, etc. Currently, our credit hour policy is in the Ashford University catalog. And with that, I will hand it over to Lynn to explain the role that faculty play in the credit hour analysis.
So courses at Ashford University are designed, revised, and implemented by faculty who are subject matter experts. To do so effectively requires multiple perspectives and tools, all of which are necessary to achieve a quality course for our students. Credit hour analysis is a tool that is extremely useful with respect to guiding and shaping a subject matter expert's approach to course content prior to, during, and after development or revision. In 2011, a committee of faculty and administrators gathered to determine basic guidelines, which were used as a basis for evaluating credit hour. In late 2017, it was determined that the current credit hour analysis tool was outdated and insufficient. Therefore, a committee of faculty from each of the colleges and divisions at the time was created to oversee a redesign of the credit hour analysis tool and the process. Let's pause here for our next poll question. Stephanie, can you pull that up, please? if you'd like to participate in the poll, everyone, go ahead. Okay, it looks like you all get an A. Terrific. So we do encourage faculty to use the credit hour analysis tool at the beginning of their revisions or new course development project from the beginning and throughout. So doing so promotes a deeper reflection by course designers and developers to identify specific elements included, to measure them accurately, to ensure that the number of items are achievable on a weekly basis, that they're realistic for students to meet, and to meet the required time limit imposed for allowable number of credit hours. Using the document in the early stages of development allows the faculty member to balance the amount of work that occurs each week. Meeting the contact hour target ranges for each course is one way of ensuring that a sufficient level of academic rigor is achieved. The Credit Hour Analyses Committee, again, say that 5 times quickly. Our approach was to accomplish 4 main initiatives. Number 1 was to simplify the form and the process, to update the criteria and add greater definition to the measurements, to incorporate more elements of technology used in the classrooms to reflect what we are using now, as well as to be adaptable for future technological inclusions, to provide training and support to faculty when implementing the new tools and processes. The process to achieve these initiatives involved many meetings. It's been a 2-year process, and we were meeting generally at minimum 1 time a month. There were a number of months where we were meeting 2 and 3 times a month as well. Each of those meetings allowed us to explore the criterions, research, and then refine our information. Members of the committee took an intentional approach to ensure that each criterion is flexible and described in sufficient detail to allow for consistency in interpretation. The credit hour analysis document is designed to support and help guide faculty when developing new or revising current courses. For example, the committee included a range of time for most activities on the new form, which allows for flexibility based on the complexity of the assignment and student capability at that point in their education. The credit hour analysis spreadsheet is specific with respect to identifying elements included in courses, such as discussions, quizzes, etc. It clearly differentiates elements by type and provides directions for calculation, which allow it to be measurable in the same way across the board. For example, downloading a textbook into a PDF gives a more accurate page count. Since faculty are subject matter experts, they know the level of student ability and effort that they are targeting with the course. Therefore, the spreadsheet will help them determine the level of attainability for the average student. In several instances, there is a sliding scale that allows faculty to tailor the expectations to the level of student expected to enroll in the course. Using the document to help design or revise a course for the average student to succeed is clearly advantageous with respect to expecting positive results. When courses are calculated at the appropriate level of rigor, the likelihood that students will be appropriately challenged, not under-challenged, not over-challenged, will realistically lead to ongoing retention. Finally, using the document to ensure that the time limit imposed for the allowable number of hours is met is important with respect to meeting university governance requirements. Wendy?
Thanks, Lynn. The resulting document is a functional, user-friendly worksheet with embedded formulas for easy calculation. It's flexible enough to easily update when warranted, and technology and education progress over time, which we know it will. Each sheet within the document is designed for each degree level specific needs. For example, undergraduate courses are only 5 weeks in length, whereas and doctoral courses are typically 6 to 9 weeks in length. Master's and doctoral programs may require students to complete a thesis, an internship, a practicum, or a dissertation, whereas undergraduate courses typically do not. The cover page, as you see, is conveniently embedded in the form and provides a broad overview of the course credit hour outcomes. Notice the yellow portions of the form, which are populated with drop-down boxes. The form is also protected so that information can only be entered into specific cells, therefore maintaining the integrity of the document and the calculation formulas that are in the specific cells. Data are input manually by the faculty developers. Next slide. This slide shows part of the legend. To ensure uniformity and to eliminate as much interpretive ambiguity, say that 3 times, as possible, we provided clear and specific guidelines for faculty working on the course revision or development to use when evaluating time on task. We did a lot of research. Everybody on our committee was involved in a lot of research in order to determine what the reasonable calculation guidelines should be based on what's been accepted in the past from our input from our faculty and established research in the field. The legend addresses each item within the document. Okay. This slide is an example of the time map page, where the time on task is actually logged. There are tags for each degree level that are preloaded with the criteria from the legend. The numeric time on task entered by the faculty will auto-populate into summary pages and provide the totals of activity per type. Faculty will also provide a brief description to explain how the time on task was calculated, which will not only be helpful in guiding future revisions, but also to justify time to internal and external review need arise. So you can see on the right-hand side, it's explanation of calculations, and we want people to be as specific as possible when identifying how they arrived at the number of minutes. So for example, if we have a sliding scale here under textbook that says 5 to 10 minutes per page, and you would have 10 pages of textbook out of this particular chapter, you would identify which 10 pages out of that chapter and say calculated at 10 minutes per page. So that would be 100 minutes. And you would fill in under the minutes column the final number of minutes. Next slide. The document is designed to automatically calculate the total time on task based on the data entered by the subject matter expert. Using embedded formulas, as we've said, subtotals are captured at the end of each week's entries, and the weekly time on task totals are combined at the bottom of the page to display the total time for all activities. So when you have each week, you can see whether or not that week is top heavy, whether or not that week is comparable to any of the other weeks during the entire course. And when it all is said and done, at the very end of that document, it will tell you, and hopefully you will be within that target range. And if not, you can go back and adjust. To ensure that the document is used efficiently and effectively, we have developed a comprehensive training for faculty. This training provides background information along with videos to demonstrate how to enter data on the document, how to calculate time for common tasks based on the guidelines, and provides rationale for addressing atypical assignments. Additionally, the FAQ document will be shared with the published training materials. And of course, every person on the committee is definitely available and willing to help with questions if any faculty encounter any issues or questions about how to fill out the document.
So if you have any questions or have any input or personal experiences with credit hour calculation, we'd love to have a moment in the chat if you'd like to participate. We have 10 minutes left before our session is over. One thing I do want to do is share who the faculty members are on this team. Mark Hnitka, and I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that correctly. Mark is in the room with us today. Hi, Mark. Maya Zelahik. Again, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that correctly, and if I'm mistaken, please forgive me. Joanna Severis, Tim Rice, Kara Metz, Wendy Conaway, and myself, Lynn Trevison. Thank you, Mark. Does anybody have any experiences with credit hour calculation that they'd like to share? Do you have any questions about it? It's been a long process, and we are hopeful that when the new document and when the new form comes out and the directions come out, that that it will be an easier process than has occurred in the past. But as Wendy said, all of us, all of the faculty members who are on this committee are happy to support you as you prepare your credit hour calculation for future developments and revisions. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate your kind comment.
We have had some folks perform pilot studies using this new document, and we have had overwhelmingly good feedback about it. They tell us that it is a lot easier to use. Having those guidelines are very helpful in guiding them towards what they should include in their classes and how long they should spend on those classes. So the suggestion that it be implemented in your course revision or development from the beginning all the way through to the end, we've got testimonials from folks that say that really, really is helpful.
And to Wendy's point about starting it from the beginning and going through the end, I've done a couple of course revisions this past year and used the document myself, and I find it to be a much more intuitive document because we have the legend is on the page with the calculation. So you can refer to it directly. You don't have to jump back around. It's much more intuitive to use. So we hope that when you do get your hands on the new form, when we release it, coming soon, you know, we've been saying that for a while now, we move ahead and then we pause and then we move ahead, and we're this close. We're so close. So I'm very, very excited to see this come to fruition because it has been a labor of love by our entire team, and we're excited for your new experiences with it. Okay, we have some beautiful, kind comments in the chat box. Trevor, thank you for the kudo, but I'm not seeing any conversation. If anybody has anything, I'll give you another minute, but I think if not, I think we can call this done.
Well, thank you, ladies, for a very informative presentation. I know I learned some things because I didn't know anything. So thank you for all of you for attending as well, and enjoy the rest of TLC.